Okay, so Naini's team, Harshad, who wants to present this time? Ujjwal or Sri Darshit?
I'll present.
You present?
Mhm.
Okay.
So the persona I've been thinking of is probably going to be an architect. And so this like the architect is like relevant to like climate change and like why Alfreda is warming up is because like the architect has to be outside, they are inside. They think of like all the costs to building a building. They know how to like plan out a building, so they basically know how to like.
Ujjwal, you're not sharing your screen.
I had to share my screen.
You are not. So do you have something written down?
I don't have anything written down. I like didn't really talk to anyone, so this is just like from my thoughts, like a persona.
Okay. So that's fine. So present, talk about your persona, but team one, I hope that at least some of you guys have it documented, or is everything in the air and in your mind? Excellent work. All right. So go ahead, Ujjwal, and then the rest of them will talk about theirs. But I believe Shrishti and Nikki's team are going to get more points on this. Go ahead.
So like the architect has to help like plan a building, so they would know like what to do, what not to do. They would have to know the weather of the area, so they would have to plan accordingly to the weather of the area. And so the architect would have to know about renewable resources, renewable energy, and like how to incorporate that into a building. And so like, and they also have to be outside a lot to like help look over the building process. So like I feel like an architect would probably know a lot about renewable energy and like the heat outside. So like that's basically it. And the problem they're facing is like architects have to like build a building according to the weather. So like if the weather is getting worse because like it's getting hotter in the area, so they have to make buildings that have insulation, and so which makes it harder to plan for a building. And so like that's the problem they're facing. It makes it harder for them to create a building or a blueprint for a building.
Okay, good work. Definitely good work, but it would have been much better if I saw it on a paper. I mean, physically, the data and everything. Okay. Who's next? Harshad? Sri Darshit? You guys had 25 minutes. Okay, team two, do you want to go? Naini, are you guys not ready?
I can go next.
Okay.
Just a second.
How about Harshad and Sri Darshit? Are you guys ready or not?
I'm ready, but I don't have the document.
So it's all again in the air and in the mind, right?
Yeah. I'll bring it to you tomorrow.
For me, it's
No, today you can't focus on any of the persona. Reason is we need you to research on what solutions are out there. Okay, what are the competitors' solutions that are out there, and then come up with a solution for yourself. Okay, go ahead, Naini.
Mine is in a OneNote document, but I can't share it. It's not an option, so I'm just gonna read it.
Okay.
So I found 4 occupations that are like some of the most like people are in these occupations the most in Georgia. I couldn't really find anything for Alpharetta specifically, so I'm just gonna assume that it's also going to be similar to Alpharetta. So the 4 were like business and financial operations occupations, computer and mathematical, architecture and engineering, and then life, physical, and social science. So for my persona, I named her Samara, and the occupation she has is a financial operations manager. And so she works for a large multinational corporation, and it's like a technology company that specializes in renewable energy solutions and sustainable technologies. I'm assuming that she'll oversee like financials processes specifically for like things in the factory, like the factory costs. She also prioritizes budget management, and she utilizes cost optimization strategies, and she also ensures the financial stability of her organization. So for her personality, she has like an analytical mindset, and she has a strategic mindset as well. She's pretty detail oriented, and she is proactive and stays ahead of like the industry trends in terms of finances, and she also is adaptable to the changes that could affect financial operations, such as like her adapting to new technology, maybe to reduce like costs and improve efficiency. And then, so how the heat wave problems affect her. One was it leads to increased energy costs because heat waves lead to a higher energy consumption because you need to like cool factories and keep the place like cool in order to make the technology. So Samara has to like monitor these energy bills, and then she has to like budget accordingly, and she has to allocate the money efficiently, not just for the energy costs, but for the other costs as well. And another one is she has to adapt to the continuous changes that the heat waves impose, because sometimes the heat waves can cause like power outages and infrastructure failures. So she has to ensure that there's insurance for these like financial losses, or to reduce the financial losses at least. And then another way, heat waves problems can also affect the general well-being of the workers in the factory who are working on the technology, and it could decrease their productivity. So the heat waves can also lead to like staffing shortages. So she also has to like monitor like health insurance, because some of the people might suffer from heat strokes and rashes. So she has to like consider insurance not just for the building but for the people as well. So those are some things she has to like deal with because of the heat problems. It's mostly with the people that she's like concerned of, and that like how heat waves can also like impact the infrastructure and building, specifically like if they're working in a factory. So yeah, that's about it.
Okay, so basically, you're saying that the company that she works for
It is like renewable technology, and I'm just saying she specifically works with managing costs in the factory area that makes the technology. So it was just like a random idea. So yeah, she just deals with the factory stuff.
Okay, so the factory stuff, but then she wants to avoid having more outages, because that way it's not costing them a lot of money. Okay, good. Then who's going next? Sridharshit?
So my person's name is Dave. He's a police officer. He's a traffic police. So he every day So they're relevant to this problem because he
He sits in the car for a long time.
he wastes AC power by sitting in the car, or he has to he faces the gas from the car, CO2, every day for like the whole day or however how much he works for. And he also wastes AC power. So AC power is made by electricity.
Okay, got it. Okay, so okay, we'll talk about how to rectify it in a minute. Next one is Shri Harshit. No, Harshit, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
I can share my screen.
nice.
So, like you said, I chose farmer, and I looked into like the Alpharetta area. They don't necessarily own a farm. They have a lone home, and they have just a lot of land. So people sometimes just make a farm there, just to, make time pass by if they're alone. And the person I chose was Maria, and she's a first-time farmer, meaning like she's the only one in her family to like do farming as a part-time occupation. And the increase in climate change has like brought a great toll on her crops, which didn't her harvest got lower and lower by every year. And unpredicted droughts and climate challenges like makes her want to like quit it, but she like persevered. And her livestock wasn't used to the climate change either because of the like increased heat. And here's the graph of the unusual events. There's a drought in 1980 and it gets higher and higher. I'm done.
So how is it affecting the animals or the livestock?
Because the droughts, the animals need to drink water and humans need to drink water too. If there's a drought, then everybody is dehydrated. Especially cows, they need to be hydrated to like give milk and stuff like that.
Okay, so because of less water, then they're producing less milk.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay. So that's a good one. And anything related to her crops? How are the crops suffering?
Yeah, the crops are suffering because of the excess heat happening in Alfreda. Like the graph that we group one showed yesterday. It's getting hotter and hotter every year with less cold days. The crop and the trees too. The crops also need water to survive, or they wither.
So, how many farmers are there in Alberta? Do you know?
Not many. There's like, I think the percentage was like, out of everybody living in Alfreda, I think it was like 7% or something like that. It's really like rich people who don't know what to do with their money and then just buy a home without like other people nearby.
Okay, that's a very good way to put it there. Funny way, maybe not good, but funny. All right. So team one, are you guys done with your personas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move to team two. Who wants to present first in team two?
I mean, it doesn't really matter. I can go first if Nikki doesn't want to.
Yeah, you can take the whole thing, Shrishti, if you want to, and then probably Nikki can, you share the screen and probably Nikki can talk about it.
Okay, because
Nikki?
hers was a little different than mine, but yeah, I think she can.
Nikki, you spent a lot of hours working on it, right? So I would want you to present too. Okay, so let's Shrishti present first. Now you're talking.
So, this is Sebastian Ford. He's a 39-year-old man who works at the Institute of Nuclear Power Operations. So a little bit about him. He's a data scientist program manager at the Institute of Nuclear Power Operations, where he has been working for the past 5 years. It's his job to analyze new performance methods and like basically understand how well the nuclear power plants are working. So he can, because if they're not working that well, he can create more efficient methods, which just to create a more sustainable future to use the nuclear power plants in a more sustainable manner. Some of his skills, he has like 3+ years of customer service, 2+ years of technical experience, technological skills. He's really organized and he has a lot of good communication skills. That's a little bit about his personality. And then the important part about how he's relevant to climate change. So one of the main ways that I've talked about previously that energy is created is through nuclear power plants. But again, this is another non-renewable, this is not renewable. So it's not very healthy for the environment, which in turn is leading to global warming. He had been working at a power plant like this before, and he came to the realization about how this isn't very healthy for the environment. And he also realized many of his coworkers getting sick because there's also a lot of health concerns that are associated with working at a nuclear power plant. Like if you're exposed to such radiation for a long period of time, you can also like have personal health concerns. So he realized through research how this wasn't the best for the environment, and then he joined this company to try to create a more sustainable way of nuclear, to like utilize nuclear power plant energy and converting it to electricity.
Relevance to climate change came to the realization about how harmful. Okay, joined the company to create a sustainable way to harness the energy. Okay, sounds good. Does Nikki want to present or not? Okay, so if you guys are done, then what we can do is we will talk about the next activity, which is the solution, right? Before we go into the breakout rooms, I want you all to tell me so far what have you learned and what do you think will be the solution? Fine, don't worry about the what the solution will be, but at least tell me what have you learned. The 3 things: the problem, the causes, and the people who are suffering from that problem, right? So we have that data. Yeah, some of you don't have the actual data, but now that we know what's going on with the temperature, you will have to look at, this is not just isolated problem, just in Alpharetta or Smyrna, right? Is that true? Okay, so there may be other instances in the rest of the world too. Now, all that you need to do is identify how other communities are solving this problem, or they may not be solving it, but they may be at least reducing the effect. So how are they doing it? What are the other solutions or options out there? Okay, come up with 4 different types of solutions and options. Am I clear? And I want data. And I want, it shouldn't be in the air. I need to see everything on a document with graphs and with people suffering, or if they have built something, I need to see that picture. Maybe they built a solar powered fan, so, or cooler or something of that sort. So I need to see the picture. Okay, so How many minutes do you need?
You mean 4 solutions in this time itself? What are the 4
No.
solutions? How can you have all this probably climate change, the whole, I mean, they let them come up with one
No,
solution.
they're not finding the solutions. They are finding the solutions that are existing out there. So it's just research that they are doing.
Okay.
But if they're developing a solution, that is after they are looking at this research work, then now today and tomorrow. So today, entire day, they'll be busy discussing with each other how they want to solve this problem in Alpharetta and in Smyrna, looking at the solutions that are out there already. So I want you to just research and find out what existing solutions are out there. You are not developing a solution, okay? So how many minutes do you guys need? Sridharshit said 10. Who else? Ujjwal, how many?
10 is good.
So
We
is
go
it going to be all in the
15.
air again?
15 is better.
Yeah.
Okay. So 15, but is it going to be all in the air, Harshad?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So I don't want to see any aerial images, right?
They can
Are
share a
we
document.
only finding solutions? Or,
Existing solutions,
yeah, it's
that's
just,
it.
we're not doing
They
the
can-
what if the problems.
No, existing solutions for global warming. What are they? 4
Okay.
different solutions from each of them or whatever. They're already out there. Just Google it and it'll show you. Or even, you know, the unspoken chat GPT. So, yeah, Shrishti.
Are we like creating a visual like we did for the persona, or can we just like put it on the Word document?
Just take some screenshots and put it in the Word document.
Okay. Got it.
Or the document that you have been working together, right? Just populate that. You just categorize them into 4 different sections, and then the 4th one is existing solutions. Did everyone understand my question and what you have to work on? Okay, so 15 minutes or more? 15 minutes. So
Starting a
only
room.
yeah, I will start a room, but you know, they have to understand what they're working on. If not, they'll spend 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then come back and tell me everything as a story. And I have to imagine. So you're working on the document, guys, all right? I'm going to start the breakout rooms. And a 15 minutes timer will start. Breakout rooms are open now. And I'm going to stop the live streaming.